We're finally back at the backyard pond. A lot has happened. I did not put a lot of video up last year. As you can see, there's a little bit of change here. It is a lot cleaner and a lot greener here. I took a big chunk of last summer and fall and built a backyard golf course here. We were always blessed to have this old gravel pit, and I always wanted to liven it up and green it up. So that was a ton of work. Nearly killed me, but we got it all done. It looks awesome here. And the biggest part for this pond is I have it now wrapped in turf grass. I always struggled with heavy rains. This was an old gravel pit, so heavy rains would pour in from there. It would turn my pond water brown and then it would go green. And I have learned now on year 5 here, after digging this pond from nothing, there was no pond here, but after 5 years of struggling, I have learned one of the most important things you can do if you want to have a nice pond quality water, is do not let any erosion and water go in. You can see where the rainwater comes down, it catches on this sod, and I actually have a drain over there that just sends it to a low spot. So I should never have to worry about mud and silt going in the pond again. I'll throw some food in for the other minnows that are in here and the sunfish eat as well. A couple smallmouth would actually come very close right away when I would do that with the hockey stick. I just picked these guys up, so I want to get them in the pond fairly quickly here. That's what they call a half gallon of minnows. We'll see how many are in there, and hopefully they're all in good shape. Earlier this week, I threw in about 1,200. I got a gallon of minnows that time. They did quite well. I didn't lose very many at all. I put the camera out thinking the bass would be aggressive in hitting them, but I'm pretty sure the bass are maybe in spawning mode, maybe. They're acting a little differently. They're not as aggressive. They're not really paying too much attention to anything but themselves. So maybe we will have some spawning here on camera soon. The minnows are out though. That's only a partial amount of them, so that's what we're working with there. This is about the worst way to throw minnows in, so I'm gonna change things up. My net's in the pond. Oh, I got minnows on shore. There is lots of minnows in there. That water is cold. Oh, there was a bass right there. You can see a dust cloud. Don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. So something got smashed. We got one of the bass's attention, probably the smallmouth. He's usually around here. I think these bullfrogs eat as many minnows as the bass do. They definitely eat their fair share and are costing me money. Would you stop eating my minnows?
The water temperatures have warmed up in the river, and the snapping turtles are now out every morning. There's a few around the property. They're out laying their eggs early in the morning, and then they head back to the river. Sometimes they'll stop in the pond, stay for a few hours, and then take off back to the river.
Got a bit of an issue here at the pond. The aerator is floating, which means the weight that was holding that aerator at the bottom of the pond for the last 3 summers has fallen off, and now the diffuser is floating at the top of the pond. We're back at the backyard pond, and I've been working with the bass, trying to get them very comfortable with me as I feed them in close proximity, and they're starting to get quite comfortable. They love eating minnows as I toss them in 3 or 4 feet. I've been gone for a couple days, so I think they're gonna be hungry. I've been feeding them a lot of minnows off camera. Now they can kind of sense when I'm here right away. They hear me. And if I go like this, they'll actually come over. There's a bass here already. I've got a few minnows left, and I wanted to get a few on camera, and we'll keep improving this as the summer goes on and these fish get more and more comfortable with me. Oh, there's a smallmouth. I'm going to see if I can get the attention of the largemouth. Who's here? Oh, smallmouth again. Don't see the largemouth yet. They usually fight over them. There's the largemouth. Out of the 5 or 6 bass, I seem to have 3 that really sit over here and are quite tame. I never get 5 or 6 in a row here. Smallmouth, smallmouth, smallmouth. That's pretty good.
here we go. Oh, okay. Okay. We're good. We're good. I really got to get rid of these cattails. I want to find the deepest point of this pond with my measuring stick, and then we can get the aerator that's floating around here tied down and back into that deepest point in the pond. Hoping my trusty measuring stick works. Wow, it's 7 feet here. My first stick down and it's 7 feet exactly. That's pretty good. I wasn't sure how deep this pond was. I've never really known from the get-go. The excavator dug and dug and dug, but it's sandy. It's all sand in this pond. So as you know, if you've ever dug a hole in wet sand, it just caves in. 79, a little shallower. 6 feet, 66. Getting shallower, 66. So we're definitely about 5.5 feet on this end of the pond, which I expected. I'm pretty sure the excavator guy wanted to go home after digging here in the water for 2 days. So that end of the pond where he finished is a little bit shallower. Same, 5.5. So this is definitely going to be our aerator end. 84. This is it. It's gonna be kind of weird to have my diffuser here. I definitely had it more in the middle at probably 6 feet, which is probably okay anyway. I would say we are exactly 7 feet in this area, and then it tapers 6 feet, 5.5 feet down that way. So this is the spot. Straight out from that rock is where we need that diffuser. I have to get rid of these cattails soon. I've been lazy on that front. The fish love them. They love to hide in them, but they're so invasive. They're taking off over there. There's some there. There's some in that corner, and these have always been my strong point. So they're getting way bigger this year, spreading out much more. Here's our diffuser, and I was really surprised to see the weight still on the back of the diffuser. This is a 2.5 pound weight from a home gym, and we've got a steel galvanized elbow 3/4 inch on here. So there's some significant weight, and this air bladder was still floating itself up to the surface. And I figured out what happened. It's a cloudy day today. This thing's still blowing quite a bit of air, as you can see in here. And on a full sunny day, this bladder is starting to expand like a balloon, starting to stretch as it gets a little bit older, and it's holding a little bit more air, and that air is allowing it to come up to the surface and float. So I'm just simply going to add a little bit more weight to this. This is a rubber air bladder, and it has 1,000 or so holes in it to let that air out and float up to the surface. I picked up these washers from the hardware store. They're the largest ones I could find, but I think if I put 3 or 4 of those on there, that'll be enough weight to bring it back down. Diffuser, paddle, let's go. 84 inches, 7 feet right here. This looks like a decent spot to put it. So I have this diffuser hooked to some zip ties in a circle, and it's hopefully just going to slide down my piece of wood right to the bottom. That should be right down there, and it shouldn't have flipped over. We should start to see some bubbles. There we go. That looks good. It's right in the right spot. That's going to break down all that muck on the bottom that always settles on the lowest point of your pond. Super hot today, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, 35 degrees Celsius. The water's warm. I'm gonna get a temperature on the water. Pretty good quality though. We haven't gone that cloudy. I haven't put any dye or anything in probably a month again. So this is pretty much my true natural color, which I don't mind, but I am going to throw one more bag of dye in. I think we just want to get a little bit clearer. I'm gonna try to get the bass strikes now on camera, since the bass have become very tame and very aggressive. So I think I can get a couple pretty good strikes up close in slow motion. Going to put my rubber glove on again. I've never actually pulled this off where I didn't have blue hands after. This one might be the chance to get out of here clean. 1 packet, blue dye. Okay, the aerator's over there now. I've got a bit of a longer throw. I think we can do it. Here we go. Haven't hit the aerator in my life. Oh, it's got a chance. That was pretty close, 2 feet away. But that is just basically, it's almost like a food safe dye. They used to use that in
spraying crops, they would put some dye in the spray that they were spraying farm crops with. So it's the same idea, just an intense blue dye. It's almost food safe. So no chemical going in the pond. There's no major change to the pond. It pretty much just wears off and dissipates in a month or so. So I'll bring the camera back out in a day or two. We'll see the tint change in the pond. It'll slowly get a little bit more blue. But overall, pretty happy with the water quality this year. I got the aerator now in the deepest part of the pond. I like where it is. It's moving the flow of the water everywhere now in the pond. I definitely, when I stuck that stick down, there was some muck on it, that stinky, basically dead, that oxygen poor area of the water holds all that muck and it doesn't have the oxygen to break it down. So right there is where I needed that aerator. There's a bass staring at me right down there. He looks hungry. So I don't have any minnows on me right now, but I will throw some minnow food in over by those rocks. And the bass like to gang up and attack them right there in the shallow area of the rock. That was a really good strike. I thought that was a largemouth, maybe attacking a sunfish, which I've never seen here. I've been waiting for the bass to start to turn on the sunfish now that the bass are getting bigger. Oh, that's hot. You can see there a lot of sunfish coming in that warm water. They're looking for food, they're hungry, they're moving around. Dace minnows, shiner minnows were there feeding as well. It looks like the bass, they were kind of timid, maybe with the camera hanging there, but I also think they're just getting lazy. I fed them a lot of minnows by hand, just throwing in handfuls, and they would eat whatever they could grab. So now it's almost like they don't want to do the work themselves and chase the minnows down. So I'm going to get some more minnows later this week. We'll do another feeding. The water's warm now. It looks like they're aggressive. There was 3 bass there at least. I've never really seen 4 around, so they're definitely herding up and starting to hunt. We got a painted turtle out, probably coming from laying eggs or going to lay eggs. These guys seem to come out in the later afternoon, early evening, whereas those snapping turtles are always out in the morning. It's been about 5 hours and you can see the pond has darkened. The light's definitely a little bit lower, but we've got that blue color coming through. Tomorrow will be pretty much full color. So I got some blue on my hands. I've always managed to do that. I cannot get out of this clean throwing pond dye in. That's the one negative I just despise about it, is it's really hard to stay clean. One little drop just expands. So I had some on my leg this time too. I scrubbed it and got most of it off, and then I walked around for 5 hours today, and I just realized when I was in the house that I got a huge amount on my leg. So I was at work, I was everywhere, didn't even notice it was on my right leg. So that is definitely the one knock on this stuff. You got to pretty well wear a hazmat suit. And here we are 24 hours later, and that's about as blue as my pond will get. So 1 packet for me on this little 1/4 acre pond. Tints your water about that much. All that's really doing, if you want to eliminate or slow down weed growth on the bottom of the pond, that's going to block a bit of that sunlight from going down there and help you out with that lower weed growth. And for me, it also gives the fish a little bit of protection. Got a lot of osprey flying around here, so tints it a little bit, where I don't know if it keeps the osprey away. They have such great eyes, but it certainly does tone that down a little bit. Thanks again for watching this one. I'm back now. The golf course is built, so we will definitely have some more pond videos coming up.